Corruption remains a pervasive issue affecting nations across the globe, eroding trust in institutions, hindering economic development, and undermining the principles of justice and fairness. The Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index sheds light on the prevalence of corruption by ranking countries based on perceived levels of corruption within their public sectors. In this exploration, we delve into the challenges faced by the top 10 most corrupted countries, analyzing the impact of corruption on governance, socio-economic conditions, and the pursuit of a more equitable and accountable society. Number 10. Equatorial Guinea. Ranking 10th with a score of 17 on CPI, Equatorial Guinea is often labeled as one of the most corrupted countries due to a combination of factors, including a concentration of wealth, weak institutions, and limited political freedoms. The country's significant oil wealth has not translated into widespread economic development, fostering allegations of mismanagement and corruption at the highest levels of government. Limited checks and balances, coupled with a lack of transparency, contribute to the perception of corruption. Additionally, the political landscape is marked by a long-standing regime, hindering the establishment of effective anti-corruption measures. Number 9. Libya. Libya is often considered one of the most corrupted countries due to the impact of political instability, armed conflicts, and the absence of effective governance structures. The aftermath of the Arab Spring and the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi led to a power vacuum, fostering an environment conducive to corruption. Rival factions vying for control, economic challenges, and the exploitation of natural resources further contribute to the perception of widespread corruption. The lack of stability and the presence of armed groups hinder efforts to establish transparent and accountable governance. With a score of 17 on CPI, it ranks 9th. Number 8. Haiti. Haiti is often regarded as one of the most corrupted countries, primarily due to a combination of political instability, weak institutions, and economic challenges. The nation has faced a history of political turmoil and natural disasters, hindering efforts to establish effective governance structures. Corruption is exacerbated by limited resources, a struggling economy, and a lack of comprehensive anti-corruption measures. Weak rule of law and inadequate accountability mechanisms further contribute to the perception of pervasive corruption. Haiti's score of 17 on the CPI makes it rank 8th. Number 7. Burundi. With a CPI score of 17, Burundi is deemed one of the most corrupted countries due to a combination of political instability, weak institutions, and a challenging socio-economic environment. Persistent political tensions, coupled with a history of civil conflict, have created an environment where corruption can thrive. Weak governance structures, limited accountability mechanisms, and a lack of transparency contribute to the perception of widespread corruption. Economic struggles and dependence on agriculture further complicate efforts to address corruption systematically. Number 6. North Korea. North Korea is often labeled as one of the most corrupted countries, not only due to its CPI score of 17, but also its secretive and centralized political system. The lack of transparency, stringent state control, and limited access to information make it challenging to assess corruption comprehensively. The concentration of power within the ruling elite, combined with a state-controlled economy, creates an environment where corruption can flourish. Additionally, the isolationist nature of the regime and restrictions on independent oversight hinder efforts to address corruption effectively. Number 5. Yemen. Yemen is often regarded as one of the most corrupted countries due to a combination of factors stemming from protracted conflicts, political instability, and economic challenges. The ongoing civil war has severely strained governance structures, fostering an environment conducive to corruption. Weak institutions, internal displacement, and the influence of armed groups contribute to the difficulty of establishing effective anti-corruption measures. Economic struggles and a lack of resources further complicate efforts to address corruption systematically. With a score of 16 on the CPI, it ranks 5th. Number 4. Venezuela. Venezuela is often labeled as one of the most corrupted countries, primarily due to a convergence of economic mismanagement, political instability, and a weakening rule of law. The collapse of oil prices and over-reliance on oil exports have exacerbated economic challenges, leading to widespread corruption within state institutions. Political polarization and allegations of corruption at high levels of government have further eroded public trust. Additionally, a lack of accountability mechanisms and weakened institutions contribute to the perception of pervasive corruption in Venezuela. It ranked fourth with a CPI score of 14. Number 3. South Sudan. With a score of 13 on the CPI, South Sudan is often regarded as one of the most corrupted countries due to a complex interplay of factors. The nation, marked by political instability and conflicts, has struggled to establish effective governance structures since gaining independence. The exploitation of natural resources, weak institutions, and a lack of transparency in public administration contribute to widespread corruption. Additionally, the presence of armed groups and internal displacement further challenges efforts to address corruption systematically. Number 2. Syria. Syria is often deemed one of the most corrupted countries primarily due to the enduring impact of conflict and political instability. The prolonged civil war has strained institutions, fostering an environment conducive to corruption. Factors such as weak governance, internal displacement, and the influence of various armed groups have exacerbated the situation. The destruction of infrastructure and disruption of public services have also hindered efforts to combat corruption effectively. These challenges collectively contribute to Syria consistently ranking poorly on global corruption indices. It scored 13 on the Corruption Perceptions Index. Number 1. Somalia. Somalia is often considered the most corrupted country due to a combination of factors, including prolonged political instability, weak institutions, and a lack of effective governance. The absence of a functioning central government for much of its recent history has created an environment conducive to corruption. Additionally, the influence of armed groups, ongoing conflicts, and economic challenges further exacerbate the situation. The combination of these factors has contributed to Somalia consistently ranking among the most corrupt nations, as measured by international indices such as the Corruption Perceptions Index, where it scored 12. To sum up, the countries discussed, including Somalia, Syria, and Equatorial Guinea, face significant challenges in combating corruption. Persistent issues such as political instability, weak governance structures, economic struggles, and limited accountability mechanisms contribute to their consistent low rankings on global corruption indices. Addressing corruption in these nations requires comprehensive efforts to strengthen institutions, promote transparency, and foster economic development. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, the notification bell, and leave a comment down below on what you wish for us to cover on next time. My name is J.I. See you in the next video.